Yes.
Okay, it is my honor to introduce Sheila Andres. She is a trusted advisor, progress expert, speaker, and author, and is a champion of small business success. After college, Sheila found her passion as right hand and partner to an entrepreneur, building a legacy from startup to success. And today she's on fire and on purpose, helping small business owners turn their vision for success into a reality. She's the owner of Realize Your Vision, get the RYV, coaching and consulting, and brings fun and flow to the business journey, and founder of the Stuck Sucks movement, where small business success is the catalyst for positive global impact. Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you.
That
Thank you
was
so
so
much,
good,
Lisa.
Lisa. She got me fired up, ladies. I'm so excited to be here, and I want to thank everyone for just being present. Um, the first thing I want to say is I'm big on engagement, and I want to encourage you to play with me, play full out. The more that you engage, I think that you're going to get more value out of it. The second thing I'm going to ask is for everyone to just take a moment and step into a place of honesty. Step into a place of honesty. We're going to talk a lot about stuff and all these things around it. And I think one of the valuable things is if you could step into a place of honesty and do some inner reflection, be mindful about the thoughts and the things that are coming to you so that you can become more aware about what's really possibly getting in your way towards towards the success that you desire. So, as Lisa had shared, I am a trusted business advisor, progress expert, coach, and consultant with Realize Your Vision. And I journey with highly inspired, committed, and honest women entrepreneurs, helping them to navigate the ups and downs of the journey, really to be present and there when they are stuck so that they can achieve goals and turn their vision into reality. So today I'm super excited to share some knowledge with you, and I hope that will support you along this amazing journey of entrepreneurship. And I'm going to be touching on why do entrepreneurs get stuck? What are the three things that will move you from stuck to progress? And I'm going to end with the key, the key to accelerating your progress towards success. Now, with a show, so first of all, are we ready?
Yes.
All right, I want you to type in the chat, I'm ready. With
Thank
a
you.
show of hands, how many of you have gotten stuck and or are stuck now? And you could raise a hand, you could do a virtual raise a hand. Awesome. How many of you want to stop wasting your time and precious energy being stuck? Raise your hand. Awesome. Type in the chat, stuck sucks, baby. You don't have to add the baby. I like the baby, but add stuck sucks. Okay. So I'm going to jump right into it. There's two premises I want to touch on before we answer the question, why do entrepreneurs get stuck? Okay. The first thing is, I truly believe that everyone is created unique and special and meant to do great things in the world. The second thing here is that our life journey is one that is intended for us to continually learn and grow. Now, we sit here and we think about journey, we talk about journey. I really want all of us to go to a deeper, deeper level, understanding and reflection of what journey really means. And in this premise, it's about a continuous effort of learning and growth. You want to think about it? A quick example. We were born. We got to learn to feed ourselves, to walk, to clothe ourselves, to talk. We go to school to learn to write, to read, right? We become adults now. Do we think that that's truly changed? No, it's just different. Okay. So when we sit here, we get stuck more often than we realize or are willing to admit. And I want to share that, in my own experience, actually, I'm going to take a moment and just give a little bit of a story. Right out of college, I went and I worked for a small business owner. I dedicated 20 years of my life And early in my career, he gave me part of the company and he shared with me. And I asked him, why did you do that? I was curious. I knew it was valuable. And he told me, well, Sheila, for one, I trust you. Secondly, you've done so much to really grow my company. And third, I could tell that you sincerely care about the success of this business. It's only right that you should own it. So I went in there, did amazing things. We grew from a footprint of California to nationwide. We opened offices internationally. But somewhere along the line, in the beginning, what was passionate and I shared their vision, excitement, and appreciation somehow turned into expectation and demand. And I lost myself. Fast forward 20 years, I ended up leaving the company, starting my own business. And I thought I'd done all these things to help him succeed and achieve his goals. I should be able to do this for myself. Let me tell you, sisters, I could not. The first few years was very hard. I was partnering with people. I realized it took me a minute, but I had to go through something very challenging and ugly to realize I was sitting here and giving my value away, and I didn't know why. I was partnering with people who just kind of used me, and I just didn't know why. And then it set off this journey. And in this journey, as I start to realize that there is a component about entrepreneurship that no one has really ever really talked about. But for those that have been on the journey, they definitely and are committed, they start to experience and open up to this understanding. So I want to bring this forth because there's an aspect of this journey and becoming a business owner and successful that I think if we become very clear about what that is, we understand what we said yes to and the commitment that we made. And I think when we understand what we got ourselves into, it positions us that when things get a little bit hard, we don't quit, we don't leave. We reflect back as to why we said yes and stand steadfast to continue in our commitment to move forward and whatever that success is that we desire. So, why do entrepreneurs get stuck? And I discovered that there's three aspects of the journey that I want every entrepreneur to know. And the first one is it's a journey of change. Now we know change. We know change. But I think what makes the difference is do we really know what change looks like, feels like, what is involved when we actually transform? And the truth is, the journey becomes hard because I think most people, if not all, naturally, subconsciously, they don't want to change. We're comfortable. We're comfortable with what we know. We're comfortable with what we're experienced in. Okay. But like life in its journey, it's a constant learning and growth. The entrepreneurial journey to me makes that even more acutely aware. So if you're called to become a business owner, this journey is one of change. You cannot succeed without it. And I explain this to be in order for you to achieve the success you desire, you have to become this version of yourself that can give you that success. So simmer on that for a minute. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And when we say we're open to change, you know, what does that look like? And what does that feel like? And are we really changing? Or are some of our behaviors and actions nurturing things that might keep us stuck? Okay. So change is necessary in order to achieve a success. And I think it's one of those where at any moment, it doesn't matter whether you're starting out, if you've been in business for a while. The fact is, you're dealing with uncharted territory. And there's something in there that is going to warrant you to learn, to grow, and to change. So accepting that this journey is constantly evolving, that you will always be transforming. Can you sit there and look at your commitment and find a way to embrace that? Embrace the change, allow it to empower you. Because the idea is the more that I change, the more that I'm allowing myself to become bolder, more brilliant, more capable. Okay. And you're going to discover things about yourself, which leads me into the second aspect of the journey. It is a journey of discovery, self-discovery and rediscovery. You're going to discover what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you're good at, what you're not, what you're experienced in, what you know nothing about, what you love to do, and what you can't stand to do. Now, the self-discovery, I really say that because if we're open to learning and growth, as a business owner, you're going to be doing a bunch of things that you've never done before. I want to share an example. I never thought I was creative at all. I never studied marketing. I could barely draw stick people and make it look hot and sexy. No finger painting. That's about the extent of it. I'm just not creative. But as a business owner, I needed to go out and brand. What does this expression of realize your vision look like? People, the visual. When I started to allow myself permission to play in this space of creativity, the colors, the design, lo and behold, I actually discovered I really enjoy it. And I discovered a part of myself, the creative part of myself that I might have subconsciously dismissed and didn't even know it. So I discovered I'm a creative individual. And there was something freeing about it. And when I allowed myself to accept that and really embrace it, I began to grow in how I created and brought things out into the world for my business. Okay. The rediscovery part of it is we don't realize in growing up, there's certain beliefs, situations we encountered, and we create the stories. It even took me a minute when people said, oh, you have to reframe your story. And I thought, what in the world is a story? We say a lot of these things, but I'm really emphasizing on how we connect to what does the story mean, right? What does commitment mean? What does change really mean? If I say I'm open to change, how aware of you what that looks like? So the self-discovery was discovering the fact that I'm actually a control freak, a perfectionist. I didn't even know what that looked like. And did you know there was, for a very long time, deep down inside in my soul, I didn't like myself. And there was moments when I felt the blues and I didn't know why. What was that? I think now, because time has been moving so fast, I met my ego, really met my ego about 2 years ago. Her name is Shigo. She's a beast, ladies. Okay. Does any of you, have you met your ego? You show of hands?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, ego is the need to control, the need to look good, and the need to be right. I didn't even know that. So when my Shigo was showing up, I understood ego, but I did not connect it and understood it to what Sheila's ego looked like and how it showed up. And it also made me realize in that discovery, because I was yearning and longing to know, why am I not happy with myself? Why don't I feel good about myself? Part of my success is discover what brings me joy and what makes me happy and who I'm being. So staying steadfast with that and allowing the journey of change and the learning and the growth, I then discovered the Shigo. I realized the depth of what it means to control, to look good, and to be right, and how my ego showed up and why I didn't feel good about myself when she did. And I also, further along as an act of love, discovered how it was cultivated and nurtured. But in that awareness, and awareness is a catalyst of change, I innately, inadvertently gave myself permission to be better. Okay. So there's a rediscovery of ourselves. Do you know how many times I meet women that talk about, one example, sale? They're like, what are you going to do to sell this? Long story short, she came back and goes, oh my gosh, I remember when I was a little girl. I used to find different things and make something of it and go door to door and sell it. And I made money. And I thought, where's that little, beautiful, courageous girl now? And how do we bring her back? Because there's a part of us that little girl that was unafraid to sell, create something and sell. Doesn't that sound like business? We have something that we make and create and we sell it. There's an exchange of value, but that little girl was suppressed. And so rediscovering that part of herself and now allowing her to say, can you make a decision to bring that beautiful version of yourself that you set aside because you were told that's not important? You're wasting your time in this. And you allowed yourself to believe those lies, right? How do we kick that in the taco and let that beautiful version of yourself now come to light? Isn't that still, that was a part of you when you were a little girl, but now you're growing to realize what good in you that you've hidden and kept like imprisoned and held back that now needs to shine and exist. The discovery is also when you allow yourself these things. What are the things that you are allowing to have authority in your life and blocking you from the success that you desire, from the joy, the happiness? What is imprisoning you? What is dimming your light? What is holding you back? And so the journey with discovery, awareness, fostering change. Do you now wonder why we have breakdowns and breakthroughs? They talk about the breakdown. You're shedding these layers of onions. I want to go as far to say that the breakdowns are absolutely transformative, but there's even a part of it that encompasses, I think, a grieving process. And I would go as far to say, because when we are open to accept the fact that we are meant to do greater things, I am more than who I am, and I can't wait to discover what I possibly can be, then you're giving yourself permission to break free from the change and those things that have kept you small. But it was part of you. So it's almost like you're allowing a part of yourself to die in order for the new and the better to come out and to rise. So when you think about it, we get stuck because it's hard. It doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable. We're allowing ourselves to change, but we don't even know when it's happening. It just doesn't feel good. And we don't even realize unless we have these conversations and are inspired and empowered to be mindful about how we're thinking, how we're feeling, and responding to the change, if we're actually allowing ourselves to get in our own way. I know when it gets uncomfortable and sad, before, the anxiety, the worry, the doubt would start to creep in. The empowered me when I understand this journey and knowing that change needs to happen if I want to grow, if I really want to serve, if I want to bring this love out into the world and share my gifts. Now I sit here and I take a moment to honor what is happening and find the strength, including my big girl panties, to put them on and weather it through. Okay. So the third thing here, an aspect of the journey, and I'm going to get a little mushy on you, but it's a journey of love. And people might think, what in the world does love have to do with business? Well, I really believed right when I started to decide an entrepreneur, and I would ask the question, what do you want, Sheila? The word bold, clear, and beautiful was love. I want to love who I am. I want to love what I'm doing. I want to love on other people. I want to spread love. And now it's bringing part of what I'm sharing with you is a paradigm of love in business. And love is so powerful. And you think, why? It's a value of mine. I define it as a catalyst for everything. I'm going to explain why. So we understand love in our own way. We've even been modeled and shown how to love. But my goodness, in this beautiful journey of even entrepreneurship and life itself, staying open, I've realized and learned that there are more aspects about love, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, and how it can show up in the world without even realizing it. One of the biggest things was even an act when they say self-love. It's not about a vanity thing, but how can you step into a sense of worthiness and not feel bad about realizing and owning the fact that I'm actually a very brilliant, capable woman. I've got gifts here that is valuable to someone out there. And without sharing it, it's a disservice. So I'm going to honor that. I feel like that whole thing, all of it, is such a huge act of love. And if I can step in and really accept that I'm important, again, not in a vain and selfish way, but from a humble knowing that I am important. There's a reason why I'm here. And allowing myself to, I don't know, maybe I would phrase it as be a blessing to others. Wouldn't that be an act of love? If I allowed myself to go down this journey and change because I know that I'm meant to do great things and I am more than who I'm being, what an act of love does that look and feel like, not only to me, but for the people I'm meant to serve? Because when I allow myself to grow and become more and bigger in my talents and gifts and more powerful in how I serve, it's not really for me. It is me because I'm the one growing and I'm the one bringing it out to the world, but it's for the people that I'm meant to serve. So what a gift would that be to be able to share that with them? When we make mistakes, we talk about failure. No, nothing's a failure. But it really takes an effort to sit there and change our mindset to not look at failing as a bad thing, to stop the inner critic that naturally gets triggered when we mess up and says, see, you screwed up again. What in the world thinks you can do this? You can't even get this right. All those things. It takes an effort to really reframe that. What kind of act of love does that look like and feel like to stop the abuse that we've had on ourselves? And then when we mess up, to learn how to be kind and compassionate. We're so kind and compassionate to other people. What does kind and compassionate to us when we do mess up? Right? And I think when we learn what that looks like to be kind and compassionate to ourselves, we've now learned a different version of that kind and compassionate. We suddenly become more powerful in love and service. And when we show kindness and compassion to other people who've messed up, they can really feel the honesty and sincerity and the love from that because we know what it means. We know what it looks like. And when I'm showing up in kindness and compassion to you, you can tell if I'm lying or if I'm really there in full love and support for you. And these are the things that I cannot quantify. I cannot absolutely define the extent of its value. But when you're in a space and you can feel somebody truly understand and empathize, the experience and what you feel is so real. Does anybody agree with me? Can I get a heart? Can I get an amen? A yes, girl? A hello? I don't know where hello came from. Didn't even sound like it was related. Thank you so much. So for the sake of time, summary. Why do entrepreneurs get stuck? I think it's important, no matter where we're at, to recognize that this journey of entrepreneurship. And remember that we all fit life into business. Business is part of our life. Life is a beautiful adventure of constant learning and growth. The entrepreneurial journey is just one that opens your eyes and makes you acutely aware of the need of constant learning, growth, and transformation. Because we were created to do great things in the world, and we are still developing and growing into that beautiful, bold, brilliant self. So give yourself permission, an act of love, to change and evolve. And allow yourself to look at the lessons of failure and messing up and the hard truths. It was very difficult for me to discover how codependent and people pleasing I am, how much I needed other people's acceptance to really love myself. Where did the sense of not feeling important and worthy even come from? And it took a process and a good amount of time to really discover that. It hurt like heck. It was painful. It felt like I was, I don't know, eating rocks and dirt, walking on fire, I don't know, getting slashed up, and so many moments of feeling despair. But I needed to wash away and cry away all of that old so that the new can now show up and rise. And so the journey is one of change. It's one of constant discovery, and it's one of love. One of love. Now, in all of that, I was sitting here going, man, I get stuck all the time. I got to a point where I'm like, how in the world does anybody want to be a business owner? This sucks. This sucks. This sucks so bad. Okay. But staying steadfast, I sat here, there's got to be a way to understand what's happening so that we can still say yes and commit to recommit to our desire to achieve the success we desire. And it was like, what can we do to support entrepreneurs to get out of stuff? That's all I do, ladies. I sit here and I show up for you when you don't know what to do, when it feels overwhelming, you're at a crossroad and you're paralyzed. As examples, I sit here and try to ignite and get you to a place of progress. And I realize, wow, the whole time there were 3 things that an entrepreneur needs to go from stuck to progress. The first thing is clarity. Clarity is the foundation of making decisions. And that's the second thing that you need to do. You need to make a decision. There are a million decisions we have to make in a day, including, am I going to get up today? Should I brush my teeth? Do I look at my emails now or make myself a cup of coffee? How do I want to show up with this very difficult client? You know, do I want to approach it in defense mechanism, justifying, or how do I show up in love? There's so many decisions. And when you're stuck, there could be overwhelming things pulling you a different way, a lot of things going in your head, but somewhere in the mix of all of that, there is a decision that's waiting to be made, because without it, nothing happens. So you wonder why weeks, months go by and you keep thinking about spinning that whole thing, because there's something in there that you need to decide. And the third thing is support. And the support can come in the form of strategy, tactics, best next steps. It can also come in the form of encouragement, inspiration, empathy, celebration, or a little TLC in the form of tough love, and somebody standing in your worth and holding you accountable for your greatness and letting you know when you're getting in your own way. Clarity, a decision, support. And the last final thing, because we're getting close to the 30-minute hour, half hour, the key to accelerating your progress to success, and this might sound a little cliche and, like a self-pitch thing. I can't even stand the word pitch, but it is the truth. You need a coach, a consultant, a business advisor, a trusted advisor, a mentor to help you along this journey accelerate, because one, you are in uncharted territory. It doesn't matter whether you're starting, been in it for 3 years or 10 years. Whatever you're having to deal with in your business is not something in some form or capacity that you've ever had to deal with. One good example, entrepreneur was in business for 10 years and now they're ready to launch a second revenue stream. They were so successful in the first, but they have never in their entire business career or life ever launched a second business. And now they're wondering why all the things that they were doing before isn't working, or they feel stuck. Okay. So that's it. It's just uncharted territory. Number 2, we are all brilliant in some capacity, but we're limited in our own experience and knowing. And where we want to go is a place we've never been. So if we're trying to achieve and get to a milestone or a goal that we've never been at before, with the limited experience and knowing that we have, and we try to figure it out on our own, it's not impossible, but how much time and energy are you going to spend to try to figure things out on your own? And that's why when you have somebody that tread the path before you, they can accelerate that progress if you stay open to learning and to grow. And it's really about those things, about changing the fact that if you truly value your time, we say, oh, our time is important. So how do you show up with that? Do you spend your time spinning your wheels trying to figure that stuff out? Or are you investing because you know that you are meant to do more? You have value and your time is precious, because that's the most important resource that you have is your time. Once you spent it, it's gone. But money you can always make. So what are you going to do to really show up in commitment, invest in you for what you are called and was created to do in the world and for the people that you're meant to serve? And that's it. Find the love in that, because you are worth it and you are worthy. I'm going to end with this, with a little something to share. Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
no problem. I just wanted to thank everyone for just being present and allowing me to be here. First of all, I would love an opportunity to connect with everyone. My contact is information there. I'm going to put that also in the chat. How you can reach me, my social media handles. I would love to connect with everyone on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're at. And today I am feeling generous for the women at GSFE. The first thing I want to touch on is my gift number one. Lisa has been brilliant and she's given me some feedback on this, and I have yet to find the space and time to build on that because I've learned and grow. But the first gift is 3 tips for mastering the entrepreneur roller coaster. It's really about 3 things to allow you to do a deeper reflection and to support you in managing resistance, because it's real. It's real. We're constantly changing, we're constantly evolving. We have a natural tendency to resist that we don't know. And here's another thing. Can you really understand what it means to you when you're comfortable? And how courageous and committed are you to really getting comfortable with being uncomfortable? Because when you're uncomfortable, they say that's where the magic happens. But when you're not uncomfortable, are you going to give yourself permission to let that be the red flag to go, there's nothing in my life right now that's allowing change? Oh, and by the way, if you don't have someone in your space, I'm sorry to say this, lovely lady, but that means you're alone. And when you're alone and you're a lone wolf, I think that's poison to your success, because in some introverted way, you're working within your limits and you're nurturing isolation, and there's nothing good that can come from it. So this tip sheet is to help you manage that resistance and show up in commitment. And the last thing is this really bonus gift. I want to extend an invitation for any woman here to join me in a Success Breakthrough VIP session. This is exclusive. It's by invitation only, because it's my playground where I share my gifts freely. It is a small, intimate space with limited seating where everyone that attends will receive laser focused coaching and consulting on whatever it is that's gotten you stuck. And because it's community, I will open it up to feel like a little bit of mastermind, because I have to recognize I'm not the only brilliant soul in the room. There are other brilliant souls, and they may have something beautiful, valuable to share and support that entrepreneur and where they're at in their business. So I'm going to add the links for both of them in the chat as well. And thank you so much for allowing this opportunity to be here and to share the space with you all.
Thank you.